Good morning, everyone. I'm sure you may know me, but let me introduce myself. Alicia is the MD for AGERS, the, um, the organizer of this conference, and I'd like to thank the organizers and sponsors, those who are here today on site. And I'd like to thank all those friends following us on the streaming. I am tremendously pleased to be able to gather here again in Madrid and to be able to connect from different spots in Spain. We're going to connect with Latin America and Europe, which means that you are not going to miss anything because we have simultaneous interpretation from English to Spanish and Spanish to English. Let me give you a very warm welcome. I am very excited to be able to see you, to be face to face. It's going to be a wonderful session. Those on site and those online, I hope you enjoy the conference, and I hope that this experience really brings the new ideas that allow you to perform your endeavors in the most professional fashion. Once again, welcome, and I'd like to thank the chairman to present himself, Juan Carlos, the head of ArcelorMittal Risks department, to come on stage because he's going to officially open the session and to introduce the first keynote speaker. Juan Carlos, you have the floor. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Kind colleagues and friends, welcome to our 22nd conference, 32nd conference. A year ago, we were on our screens in a teleconference call and willing and wishing for an event like this to take place. Gathering 200 people together, provided that we have safeguarded the health and safety measures imposed by the COVID-19 crisis. But please note that this is a hybrid event. Rest assured that we will have 800 people from Latin America, Europe, and other countries connected online at the same time. And I am pleased to be here with you today and to be able to organize this opening session, which is going to be very short, but we're going to propose 3 key ideas. We have suffered dearly in the past 18 months, although we have draw some lessons. Risk management is playing a more important role these days, ensuring the entire communication for the entire pandemic, solving the problems of our affiliates, and finally we have been able to set up a different communication methods that allowed us to continue with the function AGERS has. The second lesson drawn from this pandemic is collaboration. We have all seen how badly needed it is to collaborate jointly together among different institutions, companies, and bodies. And you will realize that the companies and the society has trusted science, and science is helping society, thus increasing vaccination rates. And the third lesson learned, as you can probably imagine, from the risk standpoint, which is our area of expertise, every year we repeat the same: that are new emerging risks, novelties in this topic. The very famous resilience, changing and adapting to these changes. We want this concept to be maintained, but with a fundamental focus. Such resilience needs to be led by the risk managers that need to be subject to that change, then are capable of dominating the situation, not the way, the opposite way. So this is the 32nd AGERS conference, a very relevant landmark in our history. So 32 degrees of increase. It was a telescope that Galileo had. He could see the craters in the moon and the satellites and Jupiter's and Saturn's rings. And since 1984, the creation of AGERS, we have ensured that those 200 affiliates in the association at the moment, with an exceptional richness, because of its divergence. We've got SMEs, large corps, family-owned businesses, giving us a different angle that's taking a view in a different perspective on the economic labor situation. And what we want to ensure is for those 200 affiliates to have a Galileo's telescope, ensuring that we have the best practices that's helping us to solve these problems and to solve the issues that arise. And in such spirit, you have in your hand a program that has been nicely and kindly developed by our staff and the organizers, and we are very pleased and thankful for that. And we truly hope that you can attend all those panels and sessions and different workshops with prominent experts worldwide that can draw the conclusions on our day-to-day work that can be useful on your daily task. And what we are going to do now is to introduce our first keynote speaker, and I am pleased to introduce you to Dirk Wegener, the first keynote speaker, who is the chairman of FERMA. As you probably know, this is the European Federation of Risk Managers Associations. Apart from that, he was a risk manager, and he is still a risk manager by Deutsche Bank. Madrid has been chosen as the headquarters for FERMA, the hosting venue for FERMA's meeting, and with more than 6,000 European professionals in 2024, expecting this to be on site at last and welcoming all our members. I can see Dirk on stage, and on the screen, and I'm going to say good morning to him.
How are you? It's a real
Buenos días.
Buenos días. It's a real pleasure to have the opportunity just to be with you. Thank you very much for your cooperation, and thanks a lot for your continued support to our association. You are the head of FERMA, as a conglomerate of associations in Europe, and what we can say. So the audience is waiting for your thoughts, and it would be wonderful to listen to you. So the floor is yours. Muchas gracias a todos y os dejo con Dirk.
Thank you, Juan Carlos, and buenos días. I'm delighted to be with you today, even though I cannot be present in person. I trust that will be possible in 2022. AGERS has now been an active member of FERMA for more than 20 years. You have provided us with much support for our work during and several board members. We greatly welcome the collaboration between AGERS and FERMA on the REMAP certification. I strongly believe that REMAP is a foundation for further development of European professional risk management. Marisa, Toro, and Cisco has been one of the leaders in the creation of REMAP and in development as a respected qualification. Thank you, Marisa. AGERS is now in charge of preparing and examining students in Spanish for the postgraduate in risk management to achieve REMAP certification. We also have to consider the impact of possible taken by governance to protect national security, public health, such as lockdowns, as we have seen during the pandemic. The COP26 conference, which has been taking place in Glasgow, has reminded us of the many possible implications of climate change. In Spain, you are well aware of the risk to extreme temperatures and drought. More extreme versions of windstorms and floods are forecast. Perhaps the most immediate threat to scale is cyber risk. The cost of the global economy from cyber losses is currently estimated at $1.5 trillion US. And the attacks are growing in size, complexity, and determination. We know that another pandemic is possible, and the World Organization warns of the consequences if established and cost-effective drugs become ineffective against bacteria and parasites. Even as risk managers, we cannot foresee every possible catastrophe, event, or all its consequences. This is why FERMA of the Year has been the insurance market cannot alone respond to the loss that could result from a systemic event like an attack on critical infrastructure. European countries have long acknowledged there is a place for public-private partnerships that allow us to set up funding plans for catastrophe risks before the event. Your Consortio de Compensation is one of the oldest. It is 80 years old this year. In Germany, we have Extremos for terrorism risk. France has its Caisse Centrale de Réassurance for natural catastrophes and Great Gariad for terrorism. The UK has Pool Re and Flood Re. The structures of these schemes may vary, and each has its strengths and weaknesses, but the principle is clear. Combining an insurance and reinsurance mechanism, some form of public support, provides resilience against risks that will overwhelm the insurance market alone or fall entirely on taxpayers. Such public-private pooling arrangements, however, generally have a strict geographical boundary, and systemic risks do not. Business operations also span national frontiers. A cyber catastrophe, such as a major attack of contagious malware, could send cascading impacts across national boundaries and multiple sectors. Unprecedented windstorms and flooding across natural Europe could still have a material effect on supply chains and consumer demand in other countries. The resilience survey that FERMA published with McKinsey in September revealed that 2/3 of companies are already changed their insurance strategy or planning to do so. We believe this started as a result of the hardening of the market before the pandemic and has continued as conditions have tightened and capacity contracted. Further still, FERMA COVID-19 survey from November 2020 found over 7% of risk managers saying that there was not a single insurance product available on the market that met their needs in terms of coverage of pandemic risks, such as a pandemic. We know, for example, that today many companies are retaining considerable cyber exposures because of the limit to what the insurance market is offering. This applies especially to the effect of a cyber attack on the continuing operations and financial resilience of the business and to future large-scale human health events. The business interruption loss could still be life-threatening to many organizations, but there would be no physical damage to trigger a traditional policy verdict. FERMA has, therefore, provision of a European catastrophe risk resilience framework to provide capacity for non-damage business interruption risks. It would recognize the contribution to risk management to the reduction of losses as a foundation. The insurance and reinsurance industry has the expertise and skills to price the risk and can contribute underwriting capital as a second level of resilience. Capital markets could also be involved, which could be linked to the European Commission's action plan on sustainable finance. Finally, the European could provide non-financial support, for example, in the form of data and coordination and a financial backstop. Clearly, there would also be a role for the EU in constant working with existing national. When we first launched our plan, we got a good reception. especially as a solution for future pandemics. IOBA incorporated our ideas into its paper for the European Commission. Now, with the pandemic under a degree of control, tension within the Commission has diminished. Last month, FERMA took advantage of the participation of members of the European Parliament and the European Commission at the FERMA talks to remind them of the importance of resilience to support the single market in the face of such potentially damaging systemic risks. We will continue to advocate for a resilience framework that will do more than try to anticipate the next pandemic when other systemic risks may turn out more urgent. My request is that you, too, advocate within your organizations and with European representatives for such a European framework. It will take time to create, so we need to be working ahead, not looking backwards when we are preoccupied with recovering from the next catastrophe. I have been talking about the need for collaboration among organizations and among countries at EU level to help us build resilience to systemic risk. Collaboration is also essential for working lives and among our organizations, especially in our world of interconnected risk. Events like this AGERS Congress are so valuable because they give individual risk managers an opportunity to learn and collaborate on national level. At FERMA, we bring AGERS together with risk management associations from 21 other European countries to learn and exchange knowledge. I hope you enjoyed the FERMA talks this year, at which Mario Ramirez Ortuzar was a key contributor. Next year, we will hold the forum in person in Copenhagen, and I invite you to join us there. I'm also delighted to tell you that the 2024 FERMA Forum will take place in Madrid. Thank you to all of you and for Congress.
Thank you, Dirk. Thank you very much.